Act VIII The Sky Cries.
Killjoy sat alone in a chamber, cold as the stone that surrounded him. Outside the window, a pale dawn bled into the clouds, casting a soft glow on his troubled face. He clutched the helm, the skull of the wyrmling, a sight he could hardly bear to behold, the very death that ignited the dragon war. From its bones he had forged a legend, but now that legend clawed at his insides, relentless. The Dark Father had spared him when the halflings vanished, and he remained alive only because something ancient and frigid desired his breath. He pressed his brow against the helm, a whisper escaping his lips. I should have seen it. I should have stopped it. At that same moment, Zorgone stood upon the highest parapet of Amorgon, his cloak flayed by the relentless heat of a ritual fire. Below, summoners knelt in sacred circles, their voices grinding ancient syllables into the very air around them. 3 gems, air, earth, and fire, throbbed in his palm, pulsing with raw energy. Power gathered around him like a protective armor, yet an absence cut deeper than any blade. The gem of water remained tantalizingly beyond his grasp. He chose not to bring Sabar or his legions into this moment of reckoning. Instead, he mounted the undead red dragon and soared through the sky, a comet streaking toward the great lake. As he drew nearer, the world around him grew quieter, as if holding its breath in anticipation. The great water spirit rose from the stillness, luminous and heavy with the weight of ages. It had witnessed his kindness, once so. How it believed in it. Please, the spirit implored, its voice like the gentle whisper of remembered rain. Let go of vengeance. You were meant to summon life. The lake transformed into a flawless mirror, reflecting the boy he had been and the man he had become. I will be more than a king, Zorgone declared, his voice rough, laden with grief. And I'm sorry for what I must do. The spirit's face crumpled with sorrow, a profound sadness etched in its very essence. Then do your worst. Zorgone raised the gem of air, and oh, how the world complied with his every whim. The lake, a shimmering body of life, convulsed skyward, transforming into a magnificent cathedral of liquid, suspended by sheer will. The water spirit, desperate and anguished, shattered into 1,000 streaming pleas, each one a whisper of despair. He plunged his hand into the swirling deluge, retrieving the cold, perfect gem of water, leaving behind but a flickering fragment of the spirit, trembling at the water's edge. Then, as if deeply offended, gravity returned with a vengeance. The lake, once a towering wonder, collapsed in a cataclysmic wave. A monstrous wall of water surged forth, drowning the lowlands in a deafening roar, a testament to nature's fury unleashed. Zorgone stepped into the circle, the air crackling with energy as 4 lights began to orbit him, each one a beacon of power. He lifted his hands, a gesture both grand and defiant, and spoke the ancient words that the Dark Father had seared into his very bones. The sky itself seemed to bend and twist, pressing down through the stone, heavy with anticipation. And then, with a furious howl of white fire, the god of storms descended, a tempest unleashed, ready to unmake the very act of summoning that had dared to call him forth. Zorgone was ready. He charged forth as the god unleashed its ferocious wrath, his gauntlets igniting with rage forged into iron. He tore into the divine chest, piercing ancient flesh with a resounding crash like thunder breaking against stone. He twisted, ripped, and gored the Stormlord, clawing past celestial armor and plunging into the very marrow of the skies. Divine essence flowed forth like molten stars. Zorgone rose, bloodied and incandescent, and drank the storm as if it were rain. The ritual circle, once a sacred space, now lay in ruins, a crater of power unleashed. Zorgone's gauntlets, once symbols of restraint, melted away, revealing hands that unfurled like the wings of a dragon-scaled crimson with talons sharp as the rays of a dying sun. The 4 gems, not mere trinkets, sank deep into his being, transforming into organs that pussed with raw, primal energy. His spine ignited with a fierce red flame, a beacon of his newfound essence. From the smoky shadows, dark wolves emerged, their howls echoing like thunder, a chorus that shattered the very heavens. Born of a mortal vow, of stolen godflesh, and the consent of the 4 elements, something unimaginable took its first breath, not summoned, not bargained for, but born, the god of vengeance.